Very good morning, dear students. This video is for class 10th subject science chapter number 5 periodic classification of elements and lecture number 6. In the previous lecture we have studied about the trends in the modern periodic table and the subtopic was trends in the periods. So we have studied that how the variation of properties happen in case of the periods when we move in a period from left to right. So today we are going to see the trends in the modern periodic table, especially the trends in the groups. This is how our modern periodic table looks like. The horizontal rows are called periods and the vertical columns are called groups. So in the first group we have hydrogen in the first period, but as its position is not fixed as it is a metal and this group contains all the non-metals. So that is why this is not placed here. It is a contradictory place, so I am placing it here. And we have lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium in the first one. Then in the second group we have beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium. And here from group number 33 to 12 we have transition elements. From 13 onwards we have metals, but some of them are non-metals. These are the elements which show both kind of properties for metals and for non-metals as well. So that is why these elements which are encircled, these are metalloids. Now let us begin with any of the one group. So let us take the group 1. In the group 1, we have hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. So, let us first talk about the first important property, that is its atomic number. So, atomic number is 1 for hydrogen, 3 for lithium, 11 for sodium, 19 for potassium, 37 for rubidium, 55 for cesium and 87 for francium. So we can see here that as we go down in a group, the atomic number increases, but it's not sequential. Then comes the electronic configuration. When we talk about the electronic configuration, it is the arrangement of electrons only. So as we know that atomic number is the number of protons as well as the number of electrons. So the number of protons are these and the similar will be the number of electrons. So let us see the electronic configuration. We have 4 shells in common, K, L, M and N. So we have to fill the elements, the number of electrons which are there in the atomic number in these shells. So for hydrogen we have 1 in K, then we have 2 and 1, 2, 8, 1, then 2, 8, 8, 1, 2, 8, 8, 18 and 1, then 2, 8, 8, 18, 18 and 1. These are the subshells formed in the M and N shells. Then we have 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32 and 1. So these are the electronic configuration of the first group elements. So here you can see that each element is having 1 electron in the last shell. And because of this 1 electron in the last shell, the valence electrons in group 1 elements is 1. And the valency is always dependent on the valence electrons. As we know that valency is the number of available electrons which can take part in the reactions. So here we have the valency as 1. I have told you how to find valencies in case of the valence electrons up to 2 and beyond that, from 3 onwards, how we have to calculate the valency of the electrons. So you can see here that as the valency of all the elements present in the group 1 is 1, so they will always show the physical properties similar and the chemical properties will be having a uniform change. Then if we talk about the atomic size, then you know that atomic size contains nucleus and the shells around it. So if we talk about hydrogen, it is having only 1 electron. If we talk about lithium, it is having 2 here and 1 here, 3 electrons. Sodium is having 8 electrons here and 1 electron here. So you can see as we go down in the group 1, then atomic size is what? Atomic radius is the distance of from the center of the nucleus to the distance of the last shell. So this is the atomic radius. So as we go down in the group, atomic size increases, atomic radius increases. So atomic size increases as we go down in the group. Now let us talk about the metallic character. So although hydrogen is the exception here, so we'll start from the lithium. As we go down in the group, lithium, then we have sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. Metallic character is to be electropositive or to lose electrons. As we know that as we go down in the group, you can see here in this electronic configuration from lithium to francium that as the number of shells are increasing, then the attraction between the nucleus and the last orbit will be minimum. Hence it is easy to lose the electrons as the size of the element is increasing as we go down in the group. That is why it is more convenient for the elements which are lower in the group to lose an electron. So they are more electropositive. So that is why we can say that metallic character increases when we go down in a group. So francium is more metallic than cesium. Cesium is more metallic than rubidium. Rubidium is more metallic than potassium. Potassium is more metallic than sodium, and sodium is more metallic than lithium. And about lithium, we know that lithium is more metallic than hydrogen because that is a non-metal. So metallic character increases as we go down in a group. What about non-metallic? You can take electropositivity along with this only. So electropositivity also increases as we go down in the group. Then non-metallic character. As the metallic character is increasing, so it's obvious that non-metallic character decreases as we go down in the group. You can see it here as well. That was the group number 1, but you can see here as well that boron is a metalloid. So it is having the properties of both metals and non-metals. But when we come down in the group, we have aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. All these are metals. So as we go down in the group, the metallic character is increasing. Same here in the 14th group. Carbon, non-metal, silicon, metalloid, germanium, metalloid, tin, metal, lead, metal. Then nitrogen, non-metal, phosphorus, non-metal, astatine, metalloid, antimony, metal, and bismuth is also a typical metal. So this way you can see that as we go down in the group, we have metallic character increasing and the non-metallic character decreasing. So electronegativity, which comes with the non-metals, electronegativity, that means non-metallic character, it decreases as we go down in the group. Another important property of the elements is ionization energy. What do you mean by ionization energy? Ionization energy is the energy required to remove an electron from a gaseous atom or ion to form positive ions. Ionization energy is of two types. First ionization energy, when we remove one electron from the gaseous atom. Second ionization energy, when we remove one electron from the ion to form positive ions. So first ionization energy will be, we have an element M which is in the gaseous state and we remove one electron from it and make it ion. Second ionization energy is, we have M plus, that is positive ion, and we remove one more electron from it. So this would be the energy required in this case would be second ionization energy, and in this case this will be called as first ionization energy. So you know that when we remove electrons from the shells, then we know there is the force of attraction between the nucleus and the electrons. So as we talk about the periods, we know that if we are removing the electrons, suppose we have removed one electron from the shell, then nuclear charge per electron increases. So more energy will be required to remove the second electron. That is why as we go from left to right in a period, ionization energy increases. But what about the groups? As we go down in the group, we know atomic size increases. And because of the increase in the atomic size, the force of attraction between the nucleus and the electrons in the last shell decreases, because of which it is easy to remove that electron. And that is why it is more easy to remove the electrons from the lower elements in the group as compared to the groups and the elements in the higher positions in the same group. So we can say that ionization energy decreases as we go down in a group. Another important property is electron affinity, electron love. That means the energy required to add one electron to the atom is called electron affinity. For example, chlorine, when gets one electron added to it, it forms chlorine ion. And this is a favorable condition for more electronegative elements. Why I am saying this? Because, for example, I am talking about the chlorine. Chlorine is having electronic configuration 2, 8 and 7. or let me write it here, that chlorine is having atomic number 17. So its electronic configuration is 2, 8 and 7. So it will have more affinity towards the electron, as after getting one electron to it, it will become a noble gas, or it will attain the configuration of a noble gas, which is more favorable because every element wants to be more stable. So that is why the more electronegative, the more electron affinity is there. So let us conclude whatever we have done in trends in groups. So the first thing is atomic number. Atomic number is Z. As we go down in the group, atomic number increases. Atomic size increases as the number of shells are adding up as we go down in the group. Valency of group is always same as the number of the group. So valency will be same. Valence electrons will be same. Valency depends on the valence electrons. So if they are up to 1 or 2, the valency will be 1 or 2 only. 8 minus the number of electrons, valence electrons. So valency depends on the valence electrons. Then if we talk about the metallic character of elements, as we go down in the group, increases as we go down in the group. Non-metallic character decreases. Then ionization energy, or the energy required to remove the electrons. So it decreases as we go down in the group. Electron affinity, the energy required to add up the electron. Electron affinity is having different values for different groups. For example, for the first and second group, we have electron affinity almost 0. But for the halogens, we have the electron affinity. Fluorine is more electronegative, so it will have more affinity towards the electron. So less amount of energy is required. Then chlorine, then bromine, then iodine, and so on. So the more electronegative the element is, the less amount of energy is required to add up the electron. So less electron affinity. So you can say that, keep in mind that electron affinity is a measure of how stable the products are with respect to reactants. If product is much stable than reactant, then a large amount of energy will be released when we add electrons to the reactants, and electron affinity will be a large negative number. But if the reactant is more stable than product, then it is very difficult to add up the electrons to the reactants, and hence the electron affinity will be a positive value. And if it is not possible to add up the electrons to the reactants, then electron affinity will be 0. Although the modern periodic table provides us a large amount of information about the elements, it also shows the variations of different properties in the variations of the elements, but still we have some of the defects in the periodic table. I should say modern periodic table. The first defect is hydrogen position is not fixed. It's a contradictory position to give hydrogen as the first position above the alkali metals. In the first group, we have all metals except hydrogen. So the hydrogen position is still contradictory. Second is the position of the lanthanoids and actinoids is also a contradiction, or you can say it's not fixed, because as the lanthanoids have the properties similar to the lanthanum, so they should come in the same group. Same for the actinoids, but they have been set up, they have been arranged in the separate group. So that is why these two defects are there in the periodic table. So this was all about today's lecture. Now let us see the homework, and along with this lecture we have finished our chapter number 5. In the next lecture we will have the summary of the chapter 5. Now let us see the homework. In your homework, you have question number 6 to question number 10 of NCERT exercise, which is there at the page number 92. So, sixth question is, the position of three elements A, B, C in the periodic table are shown below, group 16 and group 17. So, here we have some dashes and A, B, C positions are given to us. A, state whether A is a metal or non-metal. B, state whether C is more reactive or less reactive than A. C, will C be the larger or smaller in size than B? D, which type of ion, cation or anion will be formed by element A? So these you have to answer on the basis of trends in the modern periodic table. Question number 7 is, nitrogen atomic number 7 and phosphorus atomic number 15 belong to the group number 15 of periodic table. Write the electronic configuration of these two elements. Which of these will be more electronegative and why? Question number 8 of the same page is, how does the electronic configuration of an atom relates to its position in the modern periodic table? Question number 9 is, in the modern periodic table, calcium atomic number 20 is surrounded by element with atomic number 12, 19, 21 and 38. Which of these have physical and chemical properties resembling calcium? Question number 10 is, compare and contrast the arrangement of elements in Manley's periodic table and modern periodic table. Now let us see the solutions of the last lecture. So in homework of lecture number 5, we were having the first 5 questions of NCERT exercise of this chapter. And the first question was, which of the following statement is not a correct statement about the trends when we go from left to right across the periods of the periodic table? First, elements become less metallic in character. Okay. The element number of valency electrons increases. No. First it increases and then it decreases from 4 to 0, as we have seen in the last lecture. C, the atoms lose their electrons more easily. D, the oxides become more acidic. So the first is also fine. Yes, the metallic character decreases as we go from left to right in a period. The oxides become more acidic, that is also true. The number of valencies first increases, that is also true. But which is not exactly true is C. So the answer will be C. Then question number 2 is, element X forms a chloride with the formula XCl2, which is a solid with the high melting point. X would be the most likely be in the same group of the periodic table as sodium, magnesium, aluminium and silicon. The element which will be in the same group of the periodic table and which is a solid with a high melting point is magnesium. So that X would be magnesium and the salt formed will be MgCl2. Then the third question is, which element has two shells, both of which are completely filled with the electrons? That is neon. Neon is having atomic number 10, so 2, 8. Both the shells are completely filled. B. The electronic configuration is 282. Atomic number becomes 12 and that is for magnesium. C. A total of 3 shells with the 4 electrons in its valency shell. So we have 3 shells and in the third shell we have 4 electrons. So for sure in second shell we will be having 8 electrons. In the first we will have 2 electrons. So 2, 8, 4, 14. And this is in the case of silicon. So silicon is the answer. D. A total of 2 shells with the 3 electrons in its valency shell. So 3 electronic configuration is something like this and this is 13. That means it is boron. Then E part is twice as many electrons in its second shell as in its first shell. So that is 4 and 2 relation and that is carbon. So for the last option we have the answer carbon. The next question is, what property do all the elements in the same column of the periodic table as boron have in common? So as we know that boron is having a valence electrons 3, that means valency is 3. So all the elements present in the same group as the boron is, they will have the same valence electrons in their outermost shell. Part B of the fourth question is, what property do all the elements in the same column of periodic table as fluorine have in common? And as we know that in the column of fluorine is a halogen. So halogens are having 7 electrons in the outermost shell. So their valency is 1. So all the elements present in the halogen group or in that same column, they will have the valency as 1. The last question is, an atom has electronic configuration 2, 8 and 7. What is the atomic number of this element? 2, 8 and 7. Remember, this is the electronic configuration of total atomic number 17 and this is electronic configuration of chlorine. B. To which of the following elements would it be chemically similar? Atomic numbers are given in parenthesis N7, F9, P15, Ar18. That means nitrogen, fluorine, phosphorus and argon. So electronic configuration 287. That means valence electrons are 7 in number. So this element would be similar to the same element among these, which will be having the same electronic configuration, or you can say the valence electrons will be similar to this. So for nitrogen we have 2 and 5. So it is not. Fluorine, it is having 2 and 7. So it can be. For this we have 2, 8 and 5. So this cannot be. 2, 8 and 8. This cannot be the one. So fluorine is the one which is having the same valence electrons as that of the element which is having the atomic number 17. So this is it for today. See you in the summary lecture now. Till then, take care and goodbye.